Mongoose Jake here with yet another Ace Tinker video, this time again on Melanovka in the Waffentrager Offensive 4. This is the opposing spawn point compared to the last time you've seen this vehicle on this map, and that was of course in my video entitled something like "Even when teammates say GG, don't give up," because in that game I had a teammate who immediately he didn't like the deployment of the team, and he was already ready to give up within the first minute or so. This time is going to be a very different result. That game was a very traditional stealthy tank destroyer gameplay with a lot of damage. I do believe I did almost 8,000 damage in that game. This time you're going to see a Waffentrager get patrol duty. That doesn't happen very often, but again, it's still played as a stealthy tank destroyer, and just like I recommended in that video, reverse into cover or concealment. Always reverse. You get extra gun depression over the rear of the vehicle, and of course you're already pre-aimed for easy bailing. Like here, I immediately motor forward, and as you see, that just saved me from taking damage, as the enemy Udez actually had fired, and because I was driving and able to get down into the low ground, his shell went zinging past the top of my turret. And again, just go ahead and reverse back into position and be set up and ready to do the same again. That was a low percentage shot on the AMX, but always worth trying on this map. A light tank needs to be taken out as fast as possible. They thrive on Melanovka. Tank destroyers and light tanks can have a field day on this map. So getting rid of either high damage tank destroyers or light tanks should be priority 1 and 2. The heavies, they do have some use. As you see, there will be a large battle on the hill, but you know pretty much where the heavies are. They don't out-stealth you, they don't out-spot you, but something like a Barask is also a high priority target, even though he's bottom tier, because he basically is a light tank with a big gun. I mean, the Barask itself is actually a adaptation of the Batchat 12T with a new turret. Didn't make it very far in real life, but that was the proposal. But things like that, again, it showcases why I highly advise the reverse into concealment. Because as soon as I fired, I had already went full speed to get down to that low ground. Because I am getting spotted by the ELC Even 90 down to my left. And of course, the moment he gets spotted, he will be priority target number 1. I'm not going to risk it just yet on the T-44, because there's only so many times I'm going to get away for free with... The enemy has to know by now that I'm back in position, because they've seen me get spotted here multiple times. And yes, I've avoided damage, but here's the ELC Even 90. He's spotted, and I do believe the K-Panzer, he got the spotting on him, which is very critical. With the ELC Even 90 gone, now I can feel a little more comfortable here in this position. I was actually getting the spotting on the Udez, and this is why, especially on turreted tank destroyers, I will run binoculars, because you will get spotting when you're in a good position. All you're seeing me here is lining up the hit registration, and I'm looking to see where has that Barask went. And I didn't panic because I know I wasn't spotted. I hadn't fired. There's no reason for me to move. Now if I did move and he was in position, he could spot me as I leave the bush. There's also the chance that the K-Panzer behind me got spotted and I took the hit for him. But the Barask looks like he must have went up to the hill. And I'm going to keep note of that in the back of my mind. And right now, the battle's kind of just stagnated here on the midsection and on the lower part. Or so it looks. And the AMX 50B, he made the perfect turn of his turret to dodge that shell. But this is mostly just sitting and waiting for shots of opportunity, trying to see if we can't snag a hit into the top of the turrets, like so. But then I noticed something. This is where I have my mini-map enlarged as maximum as it can be, and I will routinely stare at it, because seeing something pop up on the mini-map gives you good tactical awareness. And I see people who had their replays where the map is as small as it can be. There's nothing that's showing up in the bottom right hand corner of your screen that you need to see more than that map. You do not need to see the bush that's down to your right. You don't need to see the ground that's there. You do need to see the overall situation that the map provides. See, in this case, I know I need to be aware of that Leopard 1 moving up, and he's probably going to move up along the buildings, because that's exactly what I would do. You have some hard cover, and there's bushes that are placed there for concealment all along the way. So he is going to be able to push up to that T-30 without the T-30 having much chance of spotting him. I'm also panning out to look to see if I get spotted. Now I have to make the choice to probably drive forward into the low ground ahead of me. I actually get a chance to track the Conway. Now I'm going to reverse back. Looking through the bushes, I'm able to respot him. As you see, I actually get almost 1200 spotting there. And of course, because I used the bush properly, I was able to stay hidden the whole time, despite spotting, and then pulling back so I could shoot, and then respotting him. Now the Leopard 1, I had to be even more careful. That Conway was on the move, and with a lot of tank destroyer players using binoculars, he's not going to have full view range while he's moving. The Leopard 1, however, keep this in mind. Medium tank drivers will run optics far more than they run binoculars, so they will have good view range while moving. So you have to be a little more careful of making sure to use your concealment properly. Now, I already know that that perch has lost its usefulness for the rest of this game, because while it looks like we're in pretty good control of the game, we have a 3000 HP advantage and a 5 tank lead. But if you're not careful, this situation where your heavies and mediums are coming off the hill can end up getting into a situation where you're pushing in to that northwest corner. There is a lot of concealment up there. And as I finish off the T-44, if you're not careful, and if you don't have the right tanks to get in there and spot, this can devolve into a stalemate where they are able to see you and shoot at you while remaining hidden as they get pushed back further and further into that northwest corner, where there is a lot of terrain and concealment that aids them in holding out. We have over 6 minutes left, but still, I'm looking at a one-shottable SU-130, a one-shottable K-Panzer, and some heavies and mediums that are probably heavily damaged coming off the hill. And as you see already, they've just about started to draw it back. And all it takes is a couple more people to get taken out. Example A right there. And our T-30 is going to end up becoming the next victim here really soon, because he just decides to push up. Now, I'm already doing the reverse maneuver, and yes, this seems like a long ways away. It has two purposes. I will be reversing into concealment, but if I get spotted right here, I want to be able to motor away. I don't want to have to turn around. It's the same as always. With this and the Steyr Waffentrager, I do the same maneuver a lot. Now, the situation has went into what I expected. They've pulled back the HP a little bit. They've pulled back the kills a little bit. And now they are going to be hard to dislodge. If you look at our M48, he's one-shottable. Our Skoda is one-shottable. I have some health. The IS-7 has some health. Thankfully, there goes their best spotting tank, and I am in position to provide flanking fire, and now this is pretty much a sure win. AMX-50B can dish out a lot of damage, but as soon as he goes on reload, we have enough tanks left. And I actually am suspecting he's going to be right where the AMX that I just hit was. And that pretty much turns out to be true here in just a second. And he's not expecting that. You can see all of a sudden he panned his turret around, and he was not expecting somebody to already be on his flank. He's looking straight up the hill. So now as our IS-7 charges, and there goes my wife in as well. And of course he's going to focus on my wife because he can actually get one more kill. But now he should be on reload, and then with all of us charging him, one of us can finish him off, which the ISU does. But it looks like just a nice solid game. But I did have a couple of blind hits, and I actually got some extra spotting that wasn't accounted for during the game. So I ended up with patrol duty with having 3,500 spotting. And I finished top on experience, and I finished second on damage. So nice overall game, showcasing the capability of the Waffentrager, not only being a damage dealer, but also being a nice stealthy passive spotter when the situation required it. But hope you enjoyed this, and thanks for watching.